Hi, and welcome to another week with Jackie Denise, Breaking Bondage. Go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Today, we're going to be talking about the trauma of abandonment. Abandonment trauma can lead you to sabotage every relationship just as a way for you to affirm your greatest fear, which is that I'm going to be alone one day. Everyone will leave me someday. I will be by myself. And that is a fear that you live with. And it's not pretty. It's scary, even. It's lonely. We're going to discuss some of the signs a person will show or exhibit when they're living with the abandonment of trauma. After we discuss what those signs actually look like, we'll go into some of the behaviors that you'll notice outwardly that a person would display if this trauma is left unhealed. You'll see the emptiness of the halls and the walls within that are torn down and just abandoned from the inside view. And finally, we'll leave with some trauma coping skills. That way you can help yourself in this area. If this is something you've been living with, there is a way out. There is hope for you. You don't have to go through these empty walls anymore by yourself. You don't have to pretend to be somebody you're not. You don't have to tolerate certain things just to make somebody else happy. You can live a very happy, beautiful life without the trauma of abandonment. Let's dive right in with the signs of a person living with the trauma of abandonment. And I want you to recognize these. If this is you, there is hope for you today. And if this is someone you know, pay attention and take note. That way you can be a better support for that person. Number one, you'll see signs of a broken relationship or friendships. You'll notice the separation from their lover, from their friends, from partners. You'll see signs of a person that is emotionally unavailable to connect. And I know it's scary. I know it's a fearful thing to live with. That trauma is such a weight around your neck. I understand that when you're dealing with these signs, it can be very, very much a trauma. That leads me to number two, which is the F word I don't like, guys. It's fear. It's fear of loneliness and fear of abandonment. So we wanna recognize that when we see it and when we feel it, because there is a way out. Number three is when you're given too much or just being overly eager to please everybody. We have to recognize we can't do that. It's not healthy for us, and we're doing it just because we're afraid they would leave us. And again, it satisfies that urge, that false feeling that they'll stay forever. Finally, number four is a big one. The feeling of jealousy, not just with other people, but within your relationship. You're jealous of your mate. You're jealous of your spouse. You're jealous because they're happy. You're jealous because everybody seems to like them. You're jealous because they just seem to have it all together, and you're this big ball of confusion and mess, and you're like, why is this happening to me? And you're constantly stuck, and you're reliving the hurt and the pain. But there's a way out, and that's the exciting news. Another sign, and this is number five, is If you know that you're having difficulty feeling intimate, and I'm talking about emotionally, if you know that's you or somebody you know and love, and you know they have just a tough time connecting with anyone emotionally, that is a telltale sign that they're dealing with the trauma of abandonment. And if left unhealed, this trauma can be very, very, very much shown, and it can look like low sense of self-worth. You'll see a codependency in relationships. A person dealing with an unhealed trauma of abandonment feel fearful of, they're always in a constant state of fear of what might happen next. Again, it's the abandonment, it's the emptiness, it's that feeling that I'm going to be by myself. Nobody's going to love me and care for me. And there is good news, guys. You can be free today. You no longer have to deal with those feelings, those emotions, that overwhelming, that blanket, that weight, the heaviness of it. I'm going to just give you a couple of coping skills. And guys, I want you to reach out to me. I want you to message me on Facebook Messenger. You can reach me via email, jdbreakingbondage@gmail.com. And we can go further detail with some of these coping skills. But I'm going to just cover some of highlight a few things that you can put in place today to help you if this is you and you're in this situation. Number one, I want you to develop resilience, okay? And in order to do that, you've got to recognize your weaknesses. Recognize your weaknesses, but focus on your strengths. And then with that, we're going to set and work towards realistic and attainable goals. And with doing that, you're going to develop resilience, okay? We're going to practice optimism, thinking only about the things that we can learn in every difficulty. What have I learned through this traumatic experience? What do I know? How can that make me stronger? And then, guys, I want you to practice shifting your mindset. Understand what your triggers are, what your symptoms are. And once you understand what those triggers are and what those symptoms are, notice them and develop a plan to adopt a new mindset and adapt to new changes as they come forward. And finally, I want you to have a support system, somebody in place who understands and knows and that you can go to for help. Because what we realize, guys, once we put these coping skills into play, is that that window has greenery on the other side. There is hope that lies wait for us. There's a new destiny that is only a few coping skills away. And so we have to put these into practice every day. We have to have accountability partners that will remind us of the goals that we're working towards. And finally, walk hand in hand over to that window where that little bit of greenery is sticking out. And what you'll notice is that hope awaits you on the other side, and the world is a field of greenery that represents your tomorrow. That represents your newness of life. That represents growth from your present state. It represents freedom for you. You no longer have to live within the constraints and confines of the abandonment, the trauma of the abandonment. You can be free from that today. You can have healthy relationships, healthy friendships, and you can genuinely be happy and pursue peace and love and joy. I thank you so much for tuning in to another week with Jackie Denise. We'll see you next time.